How are you doing? Beautiful masters, good morning. And you hear the birds. Today is one of those spring days in Buenos Aires that are incredible. And today is an ideal day to talk about children. A little while ago I posted a case of autism, you may remember. And it had so much repercussion, that some other questions arose. So could the attention deficit with hyperactivity disorder also be worked on by parents? And my answer is that the problem with Western human thought is that when something threatens the stability of its view, it tries to keep it in the smallest possible space. That is, okay, I can accept that autism is healed in that way. And that's where I get to, and that's the maximum I accept. And that's it, let's not continue, because continuing can be very deep for my mind, which is structured in a certain way, and with a certain Western view. So some people ask me, but then this can also be done, and this too. And my answer is that all children's symptoms are never worked on by the child, they are always worked on by the parents, and the child is always healed. Healing occurs when you work with the parents, because in reality all the symptoms that a child manifests are a pain that the parents have kept. It is never the parents' fault. It is never because of the parents. It is never because of what the father or mother did. It is always because of what they suffer, because of that pain that the mother and or the father, the grandmother continue to have inside. Many times the grandmother comes to consultation. There are children who stop being on the autism spectrum because the grandmother came to consultation. So the proposal of Humano Puente, which is this proposal of the spirit, the matter, the I am and the consciousness, united to all the symptoms and all the pains of human experience, which is what we consider symptoms in Humano Puente, shows us that a child is just a mirror. A child is just a screen that comes to show us what happens to us. Like what? Like all reality. Reality is nothing more than a screen. What happens is that it has orders of implicancy and orders of effect, of things that affect me. What happens to a child affects me a lot more and makes me feel more between a rock and a hard place, and orders me to work on it, than what can happen to a seemingly more distant thing. So today seemed like an excellent day for me to talk about children. For example, when a child bites his nails, what he is expressing is his enormous difficulty to be able to express what he carries inside, very related to anger and pain, but also because that child is obeying the emotions of the parents. In reality, those who went through lives in which they kept answers to themselves, not being able to answer, not being able to disobey, not being able to contradict an order, are their parents. And therefore, since those parents survived in that family format, this child does not want to take the risk of getting out of that format. So, if the child's mom and or dad lived because they did not express that anger, what they wanted to mark, what they wanted to say, the child is going to do something much deeper. He is going to guarantee his survival by biting his nails, and if he could, he would take them out so as not to take the risk of reverting what gave life as a result. Not responding, not expressing anger has to do with that, but it is a very particular anger. In general, that anger, which is the same that impacts on the nails, on the urine, on the smell of perspiration, on the fact of defecating, is often related to the territory, to the marking of the territory, and that is expressed with anger. How is that? Because those are the things that we used in our evolution as animals to mark the territory. You are going to see that a lion scratches all the trees inside his territory. The lioness marks its place by pooping. The male urinates all over the perimeter to mark its territory. He rubs his body because it leaves his smell. These are the ways we have to mark the territory. And a territory, of course, in the human being is an emotional territory, it is an affective territory, it is a real territory. That is why many adolescents begin to bite their nails and may have cystitis problems. For example, at the moment they want to close the door of their room because the moment of their intimacy begins, and the parents want to open the door of that room or enter without prior notice in an absolute invasion of their territory. That is why young people's symptoms also begin at that moment, and so all the symptoms of children must be worked on by the parents. I can tell you countless cases that are in this wonderful group that the consultants share and that I have personally attended to, and of children who automatically, the mother comes, the father comes, heal their pain of life, and the child stops biting his nails, or stops being in the autism spectrum, or shows improvements, or stops experiencing the symptoms of attention deficit with hyperactivity disorder, or stops doing poorly in school, having problems with their subjects. Why? Because they are not just some things. They are all the things that children transit, those that are solved by working with the parents. You never work with the child. The child is the screen. And the poor child, they take him here, they take him there, they make him feel crazy. They make him feel that he has some problem. They make him feel that he is the one who has to work. And that little piece of God that has just arrived on earth, since he has a brain stem that tells him, obey because you will be left without love, obey because you will be left with no food, he obeys. And he goes here and goes there, and he begins to doubt about himself. Am I crazy? Am I bad? He has hemorrhoids. He has coccyx symptoms. Why? Because he does not feel in his place. He feels that his identity is affected. But hey, I'm going to tell you a beautiful case in a radio program that is recorded. You can find it on humanapuente.com in the videos section or on the YouTube channel, Pablo Almazán Humano Puente. Thank you. There are more than 50,000 subscribers on that channel, and we are reaching 100,000 followers on Instagram. What is coming is impressive. There, you are going to find a video of a mother who calls the radio program, worried because her son had two peculiarities. A very young child, 2 or 3 years old, I do not remember, and it was that he could not stand when someone touched flour. And she says, he cannot stand that noise. And at that moment I thought, what noise? If there are few things more silent than touching flour. And he cannot stand to see that a person writes with a pencil on a piece of paper. When you scratch like that, that noise that the pencil lead makes, he hates it, he gets angry. He screams, he has manifestations of anger. And in that radio program, I did not get to the nut of the conflict. I told her, look, the flour could have issues related to celiac disease with that kind of things, but relate everything that has to do with dust, because dust is sexuality too, and it has to do with this, with the other, with white things. And I know that with that other, maybe you can figure it out. But the truth is that I left and I did not finish. That night I am in bed and I connect the two images, the white dust and the pencil passing on the paper. That is to say, that gesture. And I sit in bed and say, cocaine. At 6 in the morning I call this woman, radio host, ex-communicator of Humano Puente, a person I love, Arisley, and I tell her, Ara, tell this woman that it is a story of cocaine. Tell her to look for that in her history. This woman looked for that in her history. She remembered that before being pregnant with this child, her husband had previously consumed cocaine for years, and when she gets pregnant, they agree that this will never happen again. And at a wedding, she discovers that he had gone to the bathroom with a friend and had taken cocaine. When she became aware of that fact, of that pain that she was carrying from her pregnancy, her son automatically turned off the symptom, and she wrote with a pencil in front of him like this, and the child did not react. She grabbed the flour and did this because she could not believe it. Today, that woman is a consultant of Humano Puente because of how she changed her life, because she discovered that the children's symptoms are healed by the parents, and she wanted to dedicate herself to that, as many of those who start with a symptom, and today they are healers of the universe. I love you. All the information at humanapuente.com. A hug.